In this lesson, we're going to learn how to save our workbook and then how to load it back up again. Now, we've done all kinds of work in our workbook today, and it'd be a shame if the power went out right now and we lost all of our data. So let's save our work. Let's go ahead and click on the Save button right here, the little floppy disk. That will bring up the Save As dialog box. Notice how it's trying to save our work in our My Documents folder. That's a good thing. That's a good place to save all of our documents. If this does not say My Documents here, you might want to drop this box down and pick My Documents. Here's my My Documents folder right there. The exception, of course, is if your office has a network and your office computer guys have told you to save your information in some other folder, for example, a folder on your file server. But generally, you want to store all of your documents in your My Documents folder. That way, they're all in one nice, easy place to get to when you go to back up your data. At the bottom of this window, it says File Name and then Book 1. Let's click here, and I'm going to backspace over that and replace it with Sales Figures for 2002. And then over to the right, I'll click on Save. That will save my information. Notice how my title bar now says Microsoft Excel Sales Figures 2002. This entire workbook, all three sheets we have here, Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and Sheet 3, were all saved with the file name Sales Figures 2002. Let's go ahead now and close down Excel. Here we go, the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to click on Close. And I'm back to my Windows desktop, and Excel is no longer running. Now, it's a week later, and I want to come in and adjust my sales figures. How do I get my data back? There are several ways to load up your data. I'm going to show you a couple of them. You can pick whichever one you like the best. Let's go ahead and click on the Start button. Notice how Microsoft Excel is right here. Again, I'm using Windows XP. So if you have a different version of Windows, you may not see Excel right here. But in Windows XP, recently used programs show up right here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to click on Excel. That'll load Excel back up. And notice here over on the Task pane, it says New Workbook, and there, right there, open a workbook. There's my Sales Figures 2002. I can click on that, and that's one way of getting my workbook back. Another way would be to click on this link right here that says More Workbooks, or click on this little yellow folder here on the toolbar that says Open. That will bring up the Open dialog box, and again will be placed in our My Documents folder. Here's our Sales Figures 2002. We can simply double-click on this link here, or we can select Sales Figures and then click on Open in the bottom right corner. And that will open up our workbook once again. Yet another way to open up a recently used workbook would be to click on the word File right here on the menu bar. This opens up the File menu, and if we come down to the bottom of it, you'll see the last couple of workbooks that you have opened. In our particular case, we've only worked with one, and here it is, Sales Figures 2002. But if you had worked with more than one workbook, you'd see the last four of them listed here. Simply click on it to open up your workbook. And there we go. And finally, from Windows itself, if you click on your Start menu, you can then come up to My Documents and click on your My Documents link to open up the My Documents folder directly, or you may even have My Recent Documents. And in here, you'll see our Sales Figures 2002 spreadsheet, in addition to some of the letters we wrote in our Word class. I can click right here on Sales Figures to open up my file. And now let's take a quick look at how to print our sheet. We're going to talk a lot more about printing spreadsheets in our future classes. But for today, I just want to mention, and I mentioned this in my Word 101 class, that this print button here in the toolbar is evil. It will take your spreadsheet and send it right to the printer without giving you any options whatsoever. So what I'd like you to do is come over here and click on File, and then come down to Print. And there it is right there. Print ... Also the same as Control P. This will bring up the Print dialog box. And here, you'll be allowed to pick what printer you want to use from selecting from this list here. You can also specify the number of copies that you want, whether you want them collated, and so on. To access printer-specific properties, you can click on the Properties button. This will allow you to select things that may be specific to your printer, like double-sided printing, tray options, and so on. When you're ready to print, click on the OK button down here, and your active sheet will be printed. If you want to print the entire workbook, all the different sheets, you can click on Entire Workbook first, and then click on OK. But generally, I print the active sheet one at a time. If you don't want to print, click on Cancel.